What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as Ethereum Classic. But hold on, a lot of you guys were commenting yesterday that you wanted to see a different altcoin. I asked and I heard, so a lot of you guys were commenting Stellar Lumens. So we'll look at Stellar Lumens 2 as well as Ethereum Classic. We'll look at ETC for a couple minutes and then we'll switch right into Stellar Lumens. Otherwise, I really do want to talk about the current coins right now, especially in charting. There's a lot going on right now. So Litecoin shot up to extremely high levels yesterday, and then we're starting to see Bitcoin break bearish, and it's kind of pulling the rest of the cryptos down with it. But now we're seeing like retracement and pulling back up. So there's a ton of very weird, peculiar things happening within the market right now that I really want to discuss with you guys. We're also going to look at, like I said, the coin market cap, and unfortunately there are no articles of interest right now to share, so unfortunately that won't happen. But otherwise, if you are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications. Giveaway at 12,000 subscribers, so let's get me there. Otherwise, I'll see you right after this. So before we jump into the chartings, I'd like to look at first the current coin market cap. You'll notice a couple of things are happening right now. So obviously market cap is 263, wow, compared to 270 where we were yesterday. 24-hour volume is going up and Bitcoin dominance is going down. So looking at the top 10 cryptos, everything is in red except for Stellar. Another reason why we're going to be looking at this crypto. So Stellar looks actually phenomenal right now compared to the other cryptos. Everything else is down. Top 10 cryptos, everything is practically down. So you can see that Bitcoin is trading at 9,900. Very crazy. We broke through 10,000, which is huge. You can see this sideways consolidation always indicates some sort of volume, major volume, whether that's up or down or leaving or entering the market, it's still volume. So we were able to track this when we finally broke bearish. That was a confirmation. Ethereum, all the other cryptos kind of had a head start. They were more undervalued than Bitcoin was. So you can see all these other coins actually were able to make higher progress and make bigger progress before Bitcoin fell, which inevitably pulled some of these cryptos down with it. Even Litecoin, which seems to be doing quite well considering it's only down about 1.5% compared to the other cryptos. You can see Stellar though is really exploding right now. It did catch the resistance and the pullback with Bitcoin, but it immediately shot right back up, so that looks lovely as well. You can see majority of the other cryptos are pretty much in red though. Everything seems to be down. There are a couple double-digit cryptocurrencies, but for the most part we are down. I mean, I don't think we look that bad, and I want to go into specifics when we look at the current charts right now. So let's start off with Bitcoin. I feel like this is what the takeaway is. So this is why I find charting so important. And we've kind of discussed this, and I would like to give my, my second share of opinions as we now know where the breakout happened. So you can see we were charting a downtrend for quite some time now. There was sort of a downtrend up here. You can see we were following it, and an uptrend. Eventually, it led to a symmetrical triangle. So the thing that I want to refer to is the fact that with technical analysis, we're able to predict when breakouts or breakdowns can happen. Very hard to predict which way they go. That's kind of a 50-50 chance, but we can predict like when they're going to, have that breakout. And as you can see, I said around September 18th to 19th, it's now the 19th. You'll notice what's been happening. We've been following the downtrend with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then tons of days of resistance, of points of confirmation where we've made contact with the downtrend and we were not able to break through. Now you can see we've had numerous days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost like 7 days now of just this consolidation and this underexcitement where we've been pretty much stuck above the downtrend, which is interesting. It almost makes me think that like this should be like that. I feel like that might look a little bit better. Even though it kind of rides in between, because I don't want to say it was above it and trading above it. I'd like to think that it was still under the resistance and it was hitting resistance. But you can see as we came down and got closer and closer and closer, we seem to have broken bearish. And unfortunately, that's the play it wanted to make, and it broke bearish. Now, what I'm noticing right now is it doesn't seem to be a strong bearish breakdown. Even though we did fall, which we went from 47 on the RSI down to 41, which isn't huge. We went from $10,160 all the way down to 9,600. We're already back up to 9,800. You'll notice where exactly we are at play right now. You can see we kind of got recovered. We kind of had a recovery right there. We've pulled back down to a level of the green band on the relative strength, or sorry, on the high-low middle moving average. So this is not necessarily a bad thing. We got caught. We got hugged. We got recovered by a support. Let's see whether or not this support holds, because inevitably we're going to have to retest the resistance once again. It's not over. We weren't able to break through it, but now we can, retest it at a later date and see if we can break through here. All I know is that the breakdown we were expecting wasn't as big as it could have been, which is nice. And I think the reason behind that is due to the other cryptocurrencies holding support so well and breaking up at such a vigorous or bigger level, as you can see right here. Bitcoin was just stagnant while all the other cryptos shot up, and I think that volume is what is holding Bitcoin's price at this level right here. You can also see Ethereum Classic, which I'll talk about in a second, hit a support, and that is another reason why I think Bitcoin is also being withheld too. So very interesting to see that Bitcoin is being withheld right now from its support right here, and I do think that this might be the bottom for the coin. Now that that major pressure is out of the way, we know that it broke bearish. I don't think we're going to have as vigorous a volume pushing the coin down. That may have been the consolidation we needed. And it also shows on the other altcoins, they were nearing overbought, which is another great indication for a retracement. So Bitcoin was one of the cryptos that broke bearish. Now let's look at Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic was another one of those cryptos that broke bearish. It, although, retested its bottom support right here. And on the same time, Bitcoin tested its high-low MMA, Ethereum Classic retested its bottom support. You can see where we've had that numerous times in the past. That is exactly where it retested it again. Very nicely, an extreme wick pulled us right back up, so we're really not that far off. Consolidation wasn't able to break its high-low MMA, which isn't a bad thing, but I think we still have some time within Ethereum Classic to break to higher levels. I do want to pull up XLM to, let's do USD for right now. Let's do XLM on Coinbase maybe. Nah, that's too new. Let's do XLM to USD on Bitfinex. There we go. Much bigger chart. So we'll look at that after we look at Ethereum and Litecoin. So for these cryptos, there's definitely some other things that have happened. Ethereum had a very interesting, shot. You can see what the problems were. You can see that once we retested around 209 and we shot all the way up to 217 after this major run right here, which is still pretty huge, from 168 all the way up to 216, you could have made quite a hefty profit. So to talk about this, we tested overbought. We hit a roadblock right here. This is a resistance. This is indication of a pullback. You can see that's kind of what we had. So there was a lot of coins that were running bullish yesterday and running rich, which headed to some sort of resistance in its way, which inevitably halted the coins from going higher. And I'm glad they didn't go higher, because if they did, they would have had a major retracement down to lower levels. So it's nice to see that we kind of halted right here on the short term. I think in the long term we have plenty more room to move up right now, but for the short term, if we headed up all the way to like 230, I think we would have pulled back to 199 extremely quick with a lot of volume. So this is a smaller recovery, and you'll notice we didn't really move that much in terms of the pullback. You can see that we were as high as 209 and we fell as low as the same price, 209. So we opened yesterday's candle at around 210 and closed it at around 208. Even though we went as high as 217 and as low as 201, we're pretty much at the same price level, which is great. It means that we really are looking bullish, and that this green support within the high-low MMA is really holding on nicely. Lastly, we'll look at Litecoin and then wrap things up with Stellar Lumens. You can see Litecoin has now used a beautiful support to withhold itself from falling to lower levels, which is great, honestly. So we broke bullish from the descending wedge, which you can see right here. And the biggest concern was breaking out of resistance at around $72. And we finally, after weeks of trying, broke bullish from that, and now it's acting as a support, which is what we wanted. You can see it's had numerous supports here We're having that support once again, immediately retraced, fell as low as 53 in the RSI, so plenty of room to move higher. And I do think if consolidation has happened right now for the rest of these cryptos, they're going to start to head back up once again. I don't think this is the end of this uptrend, which you can also see there's a slight one, maybe not that way, but something like this potentially on the coin. And we'll see if this, holds out right now, because you can see we once again retested that low. So I'm going to leave that there. Lastly, let's look at Stellar Lumens. Wow, so Stellar Lumens looks beautiful. And this is pretty much what I'm talking about, and why a lot of these cryptos can really make a big move when they're undervalued, because it's just random moments like this. You can see, I don't know what we should look at. Maybe the weekly for right now. Nah. So let's look at the daily, and then we'll wrap up today's episode. So this is why I find the high-low MMA to be so valuable, and why I always chart it. And a lot of people don't like it. I like it. When we're undervalued and we're below the high-low MMA, it is almost guaranteed that at some point we are going to come back up to test neutral levels. You can even see that Stellar Lumens, which was oversold in a matter of 2 or 3 days, shot all the way up to being overbought just to get back to more neutral levels. So it made this major leap and bound just to end up back at neutral playing. So instead of it being undervalued, it's now trading sideways back in neutral normal territory. But the fact that it did this jump, this major jump out of nowhere, well, not out of nowhere, the other cryptos went up too, but this major volume jump is what I anticipate to see with all the other cryptos that are below their high-low MMA. It's almost guaranteed to move back up. Litecoin moved up there, Ethereum moved up there, XLM moved up there. Even if we're undervalued, if you bought it at, let's say you bought it at a high at 0.06 and it fell to 0.05, it then shot all the way up to 0.08, which is about 3 cents per coin. That's a big profit. So regardless, when we see undervalued coins, there is a huge indicator that they're bound to move back up to their high-low minimum moving average. Otherwise, guys, that is going to sum up today's episode. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.